I kind of teased it earlier here, but last week you had some activity.
Yeah.
Tell the people what happened.
So I start getting, the night before, I start getting all of these messages coming through my phone. People out in the Teleco area are saying that they are seeing this large canine basically roaming around. But nobody has been able to capture a picture of this thing. And that it's eating dogs, that it's like scaring the crap out of people. So, of course, I'm like, all right, I'm going. So,
Yeah.
I pack up my bags and I go. So this area is actually about it was 3.8 miles, but say 3.5 miles from where last year I had gone on an investigation, which somebody had captured what looked to be a dog man on a game camera. So I go out to this area looking for the dog man. Okay. So at this point, I had been hiking for, at least like an hour and a half out in the middle of the woods. I had kind of come across to where this looks like some sort of service trail or something, where the trail had widened significantly and there wasn't any weeds or anything there. And as I'm walking, at this point, I'm kind of like, well, I'm not seeing signs of anything. I just kind of thought it was a bust. And I look down and I see these massive footprints.
Really?
Massive.
Last week?
No, this was last year.
Yes. Okay. Gotcha.
So I'm getting.
So you're saying that this was the experience that was 3.8 miles from
the new one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm looking down and I see these huge footprints, and I'm like ecstatic at this point. Like, and that's another thing, I get a lot of hate on my channel because because I don't take the time to do all the measurements and stuff like that. But it's a huge print. Like, I put my foot next to it and it's like bigger than mine. Like, I don't know what else you want me to do.
Yeah, it's exciting. Like shut up and enjoy the process with me. Okay. Stop criticizing.
And I'm totally alone,
Yeah.
And so after I find that print, I'm like looking around and I'm totally flabbergasted. And I see this big black mass moving through the woods. I mean, it sounds like a freaking dinosaur moving through the woods. So of course I'm like, all right. And the funny thing is, I actually turn the camera to myself and I say, I think I'm about to get eaten by Bigfoot. And I was dead serious. Like, I really thought like I was about to die.
And there's the trailer for the video.
Yeah. So, okay, so at that point, I have established that there is a Bigfoot in this area, to the point where I am I'm now able to take people out to this area, and you'll find Bigfoot footprints. Like, no kidding. Like I will take you out there. There will be Bigfoot prints out there.
Is this the area we're going to today?
We could, yeah. If you want to,
maybe we'll do that, because we're planning on going out today. It's the day of this recording. It is my wedding anniversary. Happy 16 years to my wife Lindsay. So I do have dinner reservations. So we're trying to get out there and get something done before I have to get to dinner.
Yeah. So okay. Back to the messages. So I get all of these messages, and I'm like, okay, I'm going out at this location. So this time, in YouTube, can break you down in a way that nothing else on this planet can break you down. So I had been getting these comments about people saying that I wasn't actually alone on these investigations that I'm going on, that I have somebody else with me. And, sometimes I do take people with me, but I always make sure to be like, yeah, here's the person. So, at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm going to strap a full spectrum rear facing camera on my backpack. And that way everybody's going to be able to see, in front of me and behind me the entire time. So, editing wise, it drove me absolutely crazy because I've got this little box, you know, showing the rear facing while I have the front facing, and it drives me nuts.
Double your work.
Yeah, it doubles my work. Yeah, because then you got to line up everything. Yeah. So so I'm out here for, you know, a good over an hour. I have hiked and hiked and hiked. And there is nobody else around me. There's nothing around me. I had taken my thermal camera on multiple occasions and like looked and tried to see if I could find anything, because I did keep feeling like I was being followed. You know, there's that unique kind of feeling that you get sometimes when you feel like there's somebody like on you. Well, I had gotten out of the trail and had worked my way back around to basically like the trail head. And I'm like, okay, so I'm pretty confident at that point that there is something else out in the woods. So I'm just going to kind of sit here for a minute. My flashlights had died. I mean, it hadn't completely died, but you know, when flashlights go down, it gets like really dim. So, and I was still at least a half a mile away from my truck at this point. So I'm sitting there and I hear something in the woods. Now, in this area, there was the trailhead that I had come out of, and where I had captured this thing, it was extremely dense brush, like blackberry briars. Like, I mean, it was like you couldn't just walk through that quietly and, you know, be right there. So I'm looking over, and at first I just see kind of like a head and shoulders, what looks like to be kind of coming out of this really dense brush area. And I'm sitting there and I'm like looking at it and I'm trying to shine my light on it. I can't see it, but all I can see is this just pitch black outline of this thing. And so I turn on my thermal camera, and you can kind of, and the way that it comes into frame is, to me, is really fascinating, because my thermal camera picks up to I think 2,000 feet. So I mean, it's a good distance. And you know, I wasn't far from this thing, and it just all of a sudden kind of comes into frame, and I'm looking at this thing, and it's like at least 8 foot tall, and it's just kind of pacing, like going like back and forth, like, and I can't figure out what's going on, but I'm seeing it on my thermal camera. You know, I can just barely see it with my eyes, but I can see it really well on my thermal camera. And then all of a sudden this thing just kind of starts like walking towards me, and I'm like, yeah, nope, I'm out of here. So I turned and I was gone, you know?
All right. So let me ask you, all right. So the thermal camera that you have.
Yeah.
You're seeing this happen on it.
Yeah.
Does it record video? Do you have this on video, or is it just
it's on video?
So, because you sent me the picture, you didn't send me there's a video. I thought it was just.
Yeah. No, it's on video. Yeah. Yeah. I just released the video.
Man. Well, we're going to definitely add the links to your channel, that video in the description of this episode. Holy crap, dude. So it starts walking towards you like it noticed you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yo.
Yep.
How far were you from your truck?
Oh, I was a good probably half mile from my truck.
That's the longest half mile.
Oh, dude, I felt like, it was, I was in a total panic. Like, I didn't want to just take off running, because, you know, that's one thing that you do not do. If you're dealing with a bear, even, there's no bear in this area. Yeah. So I don't think it was a bear. But you don't want to engage that attack, you know, mode in their brain. So like, I was speed walking, like looking over my shoulder, just like, oh my God, this thing's about to be on top of me.
Yeah. No, that's terrifying. Yeah. And you said that you think it was about 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
Because just for people listening right now, definitely go check out the video.
Yeah.
But what I saw, it was something standing on hind legs. It was it was bipedal.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't tell in the picture how tall it is.
Right.
But if I didn't know you,
Yeah.
and somebody just said, "Hey, check this out," I'd be like, "Hey, cool, your uncle's in the picture."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's what it looked like, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what. Yeah,
it looks like like you would think it's a human being standing there.
Yeah.
It's bulky.
Yeah,
but it's like, wow, man.
Yeah.
Wow, and it was just pacing back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
that's
weird.
That's what they say Bigfoot does, right?
It comes into like, and it wasn't like it walked from the side of the frame. Like I have the camera directly on this thing, and it just kind of comes in. It just all of a sudden the camera just lights up. Like it's weird.
So
it's really weird.
How far was it from you? You'd say?
I would say probably 30 yards.
So 30-yard distance, and it's coming towards you. The camera's lighting up. I mean, are you suggesting that it came in on you fast?
Yeah, I would say it was moving towards me with the purpose. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it
could have got you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. Yeah, for sure. Yep.
It goes back to what we were talking about with the idea of there's certain almost like rules of engagement at times.
Yeah.
It really seems like it's like we can scare the hell out of you.
Yeah.
And we can pace you, we can follow you.
Yeah.
But God help you if you pull the gun and actually shoot at us, because now all the handcuffs are off.
And that's the thing. And, you know, that's one of the hard things to do when you're running a YouTube channel and you're trying to investigate these things. Yeah. Like, when do you engage, you know? Because people have this expectation that when they click on a Bigfoot video that, and I'm not saying this is applied to everybody, but those certain trolls that you know that come about, unless you have like a sit down podcast in 4K, you know, they are just not willing to even consider it, you know? And that's what can be frustrating a lot of the times, because even though I showed over an hour of footage of me front and back, so you can see all around me at all times, like, there is no reasonable explanation on for me not to, if there was say just a huge person out there that I didn't, how I could not have picked them up on one of those cameras at some point. Like, that's what's really baffling to me is, you know, this entire time, like, I heard kind of something moving in the woods, but I never picked it up on camera until the very end, when I was able to, you know, get the thermal on it.
It's almost as if it allowed you to see it. Like, if it's been almost avoiding you the whole time, and all of a sudden it's like, all right, let me pop out here, just pace back and forth, like, oh, I'm a dumb idiot, you know, oh, you got a thermal, and now it's time to scare the hell out of you. Yeah, you know, it's just, it's wild, man. Yeah, that's wild. Is that like, what is that the wildest thing you've ever had happen to you out there? I mean, that seems pretty wild. I've never gotten any monster on video.
It's up there, man. I would say it is. I mean, it was pretty, other than when I had found the Bigfoot print, and then that, whatever that black mass was that was moving through the woods. Yeah. So, and then I got shot at one time.
You know, it's interesting. Well, that's typical around here, I'm sure. You venture too far into somebody's property by accident. Yeah. Bound to happen. And everybody's got pigs to make it disappear. So
yeah, exactly.
But it's interesting because you said that was down towards Teleco. How far is that from here?
From here?
Time-wise.
Let me think here. I can look it up.
All right, well, it's not that big of a deal. Probably like 30 minutes, I'd say.
Yeah, probably 30 minutes.
Because I'm pretty sure, like, it's the Greenback area.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's the area that Scott Carpenter goes to a lot, or at least used to go to a lot. And he was telling me, it's more than 3 months ago now that I think about it, because he told me that we needed to get out there before the leaves started growing in, because it's so hard to access. Yeah. But, and we didn't. But he was telling me that this area, he's like, if you want to, you're going to get it out here. Yeah. And I'm just like, it's hard for me to imagine that it could be that almost on demand, because, I I mean, before I was a podcaster, I did go out looking for Bigfoot. On weekends, I'm driving truck during the week. On weekends, going in the Appalachian Mountains in Pennsylvania looking for monsters, right? Didn't get any action.
Yeah.
I think the one time I had wood tapping or something, but it could have been a wood knocker. I don't know. Or what is it called? What's the bird that knocks on wood?
Woodpecker?
Woodpecker. There we go.
Okay.
And the only other time that in Pennsylvania was me and Jack went to a old World War II prisoner of war camp. I think I told you this over lunch, and we had gotten like a Bigfoot howl at us.
Really?
And I'll never get over the fact that I had just turned my camera off, and his camera we didn't know had a broken microphone. And so everybody's like, "You're lying." I'm like, "Go ahead, say I'm a liar. It is what it is."